Hello Bates faculty, this is Dan Sanford from Writing at Bates. This video is focused on teaching writing in intensive courses as a resource for those of you preparing to teach writing intensive courses or any course that involves writing in the modular system in the upcoming year. The challenge of teaching writing in compressed term courses is that the shorter duration of the course means that assignments come at a much faster pace for both our students who are writing them and for us, the faculty who are grading and responding to them. The advantage of compressed term courses is that students are able to bring more focus and attention to each course individually. The goal here is to provide some concrete strategies for minimizing the impact of the former while taking as much advantage as possible of the latter. The literature on intensive courses is very encouraging. A theme in these articles is that the researchers tend to be a bit surprised themselves by the robust finding that students' academic performance in compressed term courses tends to be better than students in regular term courses. Granted, none of these studies took place in a setting like the current health crisis, nor do they specifically consider combining remote instruction with a compressed term. Nonetheless, they do suggest some cause for optimism in thinking about the pedagogical opportunities of a compressed term. It's also striking that this literature spans the disciplines. There's a relatively clear set of findings from a large number of fields on some of the core attributes of compressed courses. So, what are some of the core findings from this literature on what makes compressed courses successful, and how does writing relate to these? Instruction should focus more on activity and interaction. Schaefer 1995 notes that compressed courses offer more opportunity for diverse teaching methods and fewer lectures, and that variety is necessary to reduce boredom in the longer class periods. In compressed courses, the instructor's role shifts from a passive presenter of information to an active facilitator of learning activities. Similarly, Scott and Normore 2013 stressed that active learning is critical in compressed course formats and that interaction is vital. Problem solving, role playing, and skill development should have a much more prominent role in the compressed course. Baiting 2016 highlights that engaging and interactive teaching methods are all the more critical in online compressed courses. Writing has an obvious role to play here because in-class writing is a core method for active learning. Assignments should be modified to accommodate the increased pace. COPS 2014, based on interviews with faculty teaching summer session courses, recommends modifying processes and structures to fit the faster pace and scheduling assignments to fit the rhythm of the course. One thing this means is deconstructing single, longer assignments into multiple, smaller components. This has huge implications for writing. It's always a good idea to reconceptualize large writing assignments as a series of smaller ones. This is true at every level, from FYS to thesis. It allows students to focus on small, attainable milestones that feel manageable to them, and it scaffolds students in their development of a process for writing. In compressed courses, it's more relevant than ever because it makes the rapid pace of the course less overwhelming to students and helps them to handle the challenges inherent to time management in short, rapid courses. And build courses around learning outcomes. Johnson 2009 notes that successful compressed courses are designed with learning outcomes in mind. Faculty who are experienced in teaching intensive courses embrace an approach that focuses on depth rather than breadth. In the same vein, Scott 2003 finds that intensive courses are excellent venues for deep, concentrated, focused learning. We can take advantage of this by embracing the fact that we'll probably be able to cover less in compressed courses, but that the material we do cover, students are likely to learn very well. The message here is that it's not a priority to do everything that you would do in a usual term. Rather, the goal is to reflect on what's important in the course and focus your efforts there. This is true for writing as well. It's not important to retain every assignment that you would have students do in a regular term. Use writing to support your outcomes for the course. So that's a bit of general pedagogy, helpful stuff at every level of course design for intensive courses. These implicate writing, but they're not specifically about writing. What about writing itself? What do the experts have to say about teaching writing in a compressed course? In helping students grow as writers, what are some tools and strategies that work in a compressed term? I'm drawing here both on the above studies as well as a few more articles listed here that speak directly to best practices for teaching writing in a compressed term. These are all ways to modify the way you teach writing in your courses to make it work better for both you and your students in compressed courses. Reduce the overall amount of writing. It's okay to assign less writing in compressed courses. This is a common practice among faculty who teach compressed courses, and it doesn't need to get in the way of teaching writing effectively. One of the most important reasons that we assign frequent writing is to keep students engaged in our courses while they're not in class. McLeod, Horn, and Haswell 2005 report that this is less of a concern in compressed courses, because when we're seeing our students more frequently, there's less of a need to keep them focused on the course. This tends to happen naturally. Reducing the overall amount of writing can also make the pace of the course less burdensome for students. As we've seen, the guiding principle in deciding what to retain in compressed courses is the learning outcomes for the course. Rose 2007 writes that the goal for compressed courses is not to rush students through a curriculum or program just to save time or money, but to guide them to a destination. As you're redesigning courses for the shorter format and evaluating your current writing assignments, the filter to apply is, how can I best guide students toward the intended destination for this course? Which writing assignments are most directly related to my course outcomes, or is there a shorter piece of writing that would satisfy this outcome? Writing does not have to be long to teach effective lessons about writing, and to guide students into thinking critically about the ideas of your course. Shift towards less formal writing. Large, formal, high-stakes assignments are stressful for students in a way that gets heightened by a compressed schedule. Smaller, less formal, lower-stakes writing assignments are less stressful. The time management concerns of handling a large project in a shorter term are allayed when projects are smaller, single-stage assignments that are straightforward for students to complete. Both Floyd 2016 and Alba 2016 suggest breaking up large, formal assignments into smaller, less formal ones as a core strategy for teaching writing in compressed courses. Shift more writing into class time. You can have your students write just as much, but have it be less overwhelming for them when you move writing into your class instead of assigning it between courses. This can mean more informal in-class writing, more time to work on papers in class, and more collaborative group activities. This is possible in intensified courses in a way that isn't in regular term courses. McLeod, Horn, and Haswell 2005 note that the more frequent class meetings of compressed courses create better continuity for in-class writing tasks, i.e., students easily pick up where they'd left off in previous classes, as well as more cohesive collaborative student groups, because students get to know each other quickly and well by seeing each other more frequently. This also helps you to break up classes that are meeting more frequently for longer periods of time. With longer, more frequent courses, there's this need to break up lecture and involve more active approaches. Writing is an ideal way to accomplish this. Use writing to vary your course, breaking up large blocks of time with interspersed, informal writing. Finally, focus your feedback. We've seen how it's important to break up large assignments into smaller ones. One of the biggest advantages of this for instructors is that it presents more opportunities to give students feedback on their writing. The trick to doing this in a way that's sustainable in a compressed term is to focus your feedback on the course outcomes. Use your feedback as a way to help students to develop as writers and to meet the goals for the course. Don't worry about using your comments to globally assess a piece of writing or to justify a grade. Focus on 2 or 3 areas of development that are particularly pertinent to your course outcomes, to that student, and to that assignment, and restrict your feedback to those areas. Stahl 2017 suggests faculty come up with 2 or 3 pieces of guidance that they would give the student about how to improve in either their next essay or a revision of the current one. The feedback is forward-looking and growth-oriented. A lot of growth is possible in compressed courses. Our goal is to guide that growth with our comments. Thank you, and I hope you found this helpful. I also encourage you to check out our other videos on the Writing at Bates website. Writing for Critical Thinking and Tools for Better Faster Grading both provide some additional strategies for short, impactful writing assignments. Both of the My Favorite Writing Assignment panels provide a wealth of creative ideas for great writing assignments from your Bates colleagues. You can find all of this by heading to bates.edu/writing and clicking on Video Workshops under Faculty Programming. Thank you, and I hope you found this helpful. We're all in this together. If you have questions about applying these ideas in your courses for this fall, please send us a message at writing@bates.edu.